Hi everyone, you're welcome to my session on how to create the ultimate rate card. And my name is Tola Labi. I am a graphic designer. I specialize in logo design and I'm also a business owner. I run a company called Tola Alabi Design. We specialize in branding and identity designs for startups. Now, this class is very important because it's something I'm very passionate about talking about. I do a lot of consulting and talking with young designers, young graphic designers, people that are just going into the field of design. And I talk with them a lot about this topic of creating a rate card. And I always tell people that if there's one thing I want to be remembered for, is for being the guy that really pushed the need for designers to have a rate card as a design business. Now, a lot of you might not be used to what a rate card is. You might not really know what the definition of a rate card is. And this was me about 10 years ago. I'd never heard of the word rate card. As a matter of fact, the first time I heard the word rate card, I was just at home and a friend of mine called me and told me, "Hey Tola, I have this lady who wants to do some branding for her business, and she would, I think she would be a good client. She's asking for your rate card." And I said, I, I don't know what a rate card is. Can't you just tell her how much I charge? You know how much I charge? Because this was my friend. He knew exactly how much I charge for design. So I told him, just tell her how much I charge for doing a logo. And he said, no, this is not one of those clients. I just tell with your mouth how much you charge. She's demanding a rate card. She wants to see a rate card. And I said, I don't know what a rate card is. And I said, you know what? I will send you mine right now. Just look at it and just draw up something very similar to what I'm going to send you right now and send it back to me so I can show it to this woman. And he emailed me his rate card and I looked at it. And that was my first time ever seeing what is called a rate card. And immediately I used his and I just structured up mine and I sent it to him. Now, at that time, I was charging about um, 15,000, 20,000. I can't really remember, but I think it was that range for a logo. And I thought that was good. That was good enough for me. So as I was charging that for a logo, and I sent after structuring the rate card, I sent it to him. And on the rate card, because on his rate card he had packages, he had like three packages. So there was the lowest, minimum, and highest. So I didn't have anything like that. So I just put my lowest was the standard 15,000, the minimum was 35,000, and the highest was about 50,000. And I sent it to him, just expecting that the woman would choose the 15,000 package because that's what everybody was doing. In fact, for me, 15,000 was a good rate. A lot of people were not even paying up to that amount. They're paying 10,000 or so, or 5,000. Some didn't even pay at all. So I was thinking, on a good day, I should get about 10,000 from this project. So I sent it to him and he looked at it and he acknowledged that he had received it. And he called me back like some hours later and he said, okay, she's ready to do the job. She has looked at your rate card and she's ready to do the job. So she's ready to pay 50,000, 100% upfront. And I was shocked. I said, do you mean 5,000? No, she said, no, she's ready to pay 50,000. That was what was on your rate card now. And I was really shocked that that was the first time anyone was paying me 50,000 for a logo. And I said, whoa, that's ridiculous. And I thought, well, what did I do? What was different? And she actually paid. She paid upfront 50,000. And that opened my eyes to the possibilities a rate card can open up to you as a business person. And since that day, I've been using that concept of a rate card, and my rates have been going steadily higher and higher, and clients have been paying, and it has really revolutionized my business. And that's why when I talk to designers today, they tell me I'm not making a lot of money from the business of design people are not paying me what I desire, the first thing I always ask them is, do you have a rate card? That's the first thing. Anyone that knows me knows that's the first thing. With the designers I mentor, we always go through that rate card. It is just very important. We always talk about structure their rate card and put a rate card together for them. There's a designer I'm working with right now. Have been mentoring him since the beginning of the year, and we worked on his rate card. And his rate card was, when we finished working on his rate card, structuring his rate card was amazing. As a matter of fact, when people ask me for a sample of the rate card, I always send his rate card. And if you are watching this right now, you probably have a sample of his rate card also, because for everyone that registered for this, I make sure I send a sample of the rate card. It comes with the package for this session. So I send you his rate card, because rate card is really good. And we worked on his rate card, and he used to charge really low for design too. He was in that range of charging 15,000, 10,000, 20,000 on a good day. And we structured his rate card, and he called me about 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back, and he told me a client was reaching out to him for a project. And I said, okay, so this is your chance to use this rate card right now. Send that rate card to the client and go into the meeting with the rate card and let them know what you are offering. And after his meeting with the client, he called me back and said, I'm going to do my first 120,000 logo job ever in my career. And I was like, thank you so much, sir, for helping me to put together this rate card. Nobody has ever paid me 120,000 to do a logo before. Remember, this is someone that is coming from 15,000, 10,000, if the client even bothers to pay at all. And he went from there to be able to charge 120,000, and the project went seamlessly, and he got paid his money, and his confidence has been boosted. So a rate card is a very important document for you to have as a business person. Now, this session is not just for designers. It's for you as a business person, because the first person that my friend that introduced me to the concept of a rate card was not even a designer. He's a photographer. You understand? So he was not a designer. So having a rate card is not something just for designers. If you're a business person, you're a startup, this is a good session for you. And as I said, I'm glad that you're part of this session. So I'm just going to start this by just answering the question, why do we charge in the first place? Why do we charge as businesses? You understand? Because I tell people that if you have a skill, you are not a business till somebody pays you for that thing. If someone can exchange money for your skill, then you're not a business. Until someone can exchange money for your skill, you're not a business. You're just doing charity work. So you are not a graphic designer in business if nobody's paying you money for it. Everybody just saying, hey, my guy, help me do this, or help me do this, help me do this. If it's just your friend telling you to help them do stuff, you are still in the charity business. And you're still in the charity sphere, if you can put it that way. I know you can call charity a business, but you're still in charity area, you understand? So if you really want to be a business, you need to be charging. And so it brings us to the question, why do we charge? Why do we charge for our services in the first place? Why don't we just give out our services? You understand? Me as a logo designer, why don't I just give out my services for free? And there are three major reasons why we charge as individuals that have businesses. The first reason why we charge is to survive. Businesses charge to survive. People that run businesses charge to survive. They charge to pay their bills, to buy food, to pay for electricity, pay for transportation, pay fees, just bills basically, to survive. But this is what I call the most elemental reason why people charge. It is the base reason. So if it's a pyramid, it's the bottom of the pyramid. If you are a business and you are charging just to survive, you are living at the bottom of the pyramid. You mean you are just charging to meet your needs, and you realize that business people that charge like that, are normally people that do menial labor. Do you understand? People that are doing like what we might call menial work. So you would realize that if you're to ask a bricklayer how much he would charge what would allow him to eat that day, what will allow him to transport himself back home. So it's for survival, and that's the base of the pyramid, charging for survival. So you wouldn't need a rate card for that, to be honest with you. If that is the reason why you are charging, then this is not the session for you, and I would like you to elevate to the top of the pyramid. So the second the second layer of that pyramid is people. Why we charge as a compensation for our work and our time. Now we have more of the academics that charge for this reason. You understand? The people that are schooled, because that's what school teaches us to do. So when someone is paying you, they are paying for how hard the work is, or how much time you're spending doing the work. So a lot of people that work as employees kind of think that way. When they work in for interviews, they always ask, okay, am I going to work weekends? Am I going to work till 5 o'clock or 8 p.m.? You understand? What time do I close? Then they use that to judge if the salary is good enough. You understand? So they charge based on how much it's going to take from them in terms of energy or in terms of time. Now that's the second part of the pyramid. Now the truth of that is that I really won't suggest that for you too, as a business person, because you know that the truth is that you want to get the dream is to do less and earn more. You understand? But people on that second base of the pyramid are stuck with always doing more to earn more. So they hardly ever rest. You understand? So they always try to do more, do more, do more. But the truth is, the more professional you become as a business person, it should take you less time to do the job, and you should be paid more. Like, I am a logo designer. I've been designing logos for about 16 years now, branding companies. And when I first started out, it could take me um, weeks, you understand, to do a really decent logo. But now it takes me less time because I've been doing it over and over and over again. And so it's to do a real functional logo design doesn't really take me as much time, but I'm earning more. You understand? And that means that my structure is not based on compensation for my time or how much work it is, because now logo design is easy for me. So that means if I'm going by the mentality of someone on the second level, that means that I should reduce my rate because it's now easy for me and it's taking me less time. But we know that's not how business works. So that's the fault with that second level of charging. Now, the top of the pyramid, why we charge. Now, the people that charge for this reason are the people that enjoy using a rate card, and are the people who should be watching this video. So if you're not at that level yet, it's a good thing you're watching this video, because it's going to help you to get to that level. Now, the third reason, and the top of the pyramid, why we charge is to build our value, our worth, our perceived value, to build our perceived value. And that's the reason, that should be the ultimate reason why anybody should charge, to build your value as a business person. So that should be it. It's not about how much work you're doing or how much time you're spending. It's based on your value. And I would give this example. You know that some people always say, if you want to come up with your rates, think of how much it costs you, like how much you pay your employees, how much you spend on NEPA bills, how much you spend on your generator, just running costs. Then factor that in, how much you pay as tax, and factor that in, then put all those things together and add a little that represents your profit, and that becomes your rate. That's how some people come up with their rate. And I say, for me, that doesn't that is not the ideal way to come up with your rate, because that's not value based. That's just based on the second level of the pyramid, how much it takes to do the work and how much time. Now, and I'll give you the example of, there are a lot of people that might be social media influencers, A lot of them might be funny, maybe they're comedians or things like that, and some of them charge as much as 500,000 for 30 seconds of a skit. Now, if that person were going by the model of factoring how much it takes to run your gen, how many people you employ, how much time it takes you, they should be charging very little. They shouldn't be charging as much as 500,000, because how much of your gen do you need to run your phone, your mobile phone? Because a lot of them shoot it with just their mobile phone. Some of them with pixelated videos and stuff like that, but they charge very high. Some of them, it's just them in their room. They're not charging for, there's no office, you understand? No office structure, no staff, no. So why are they charging 500,000? Do you understand? They are charging 500,000 or 1 million for a 1 minute skit, because those people truly understand the value of what they do, and they understand their value as business people. And that is how you should come up with your rate, understanding your value. So coming up with your rates, why you charge, is because you want to pass across what your value is, because you understand what your personal value is, the value of the work you are doing. So never charge to survive. That is very base. If you start out as charging to survive, just start out there, but try to move up to the topmost level. Never charge as compensation for your work and your time, because that just keeps you working and spending more time to make more money. Always charge from a high self-worth and a good self-perception of what your value is. That is why you should charge. And people that have a good self-worth and a good perception are the people that, as I said earlier, end up using their rate card, and their rate card really works well for them. Now, a big question I get asked is, how much should I charge? A lot of people ask that question, how much should I charge? I don't know how to come up with what I should charge for logo design, or what I should charge for baking a cake, what I should charge for this. Remember, you're not charging how much it takes to put all these materials together. You're charging based on value. And people say, how do I know what my value is? How do I have a healthy self-worth? So how do you come up with a price that is healthy for your self-worth, that is not based on you surviving, not based on how much time or how much work you do? Now I'm going to answer that question for you. How do you come up with a value that helps you to build your self-worth? And I tell people this, and people find this somewhat controversial, but it works. And I won't tell you in this session what really works. Now, what really works in this case, if you want to come up with a rate that builds your self-worth and allows you to have a good perception, healthy perception of yourself, is to always charge a rate that scares you. Charge that amount that scares you. Charge that amount that when you think about it, you kind of think to yourself, look, Tola, nobody's ever going to pay you this amount for this. Nobody. This is ridiculous. Nobody's going to pay you this. And for me, it started out at that 50,000. I thought it was impossible for anybody to pay me 50,000 to do a logo, but I put it down there. Now that was something that challenged me, and when I got paid that 50,000, it built my confidence so much that, look, whoa, so that means everyone that has been paying me 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 up to that time was underpaying me. Someone can actually pay me 50,000. That built my self-worth. I was working with a kind of strut that I never worked with before. You understand? It made me believe that, look, I went out and I tried the impossible and I did it. Now, that is what builds your self-worth. It's not how much it takes for you to run your company, how many staff you have to pay. No, it's not how much do I need to eat. That doesn't build your self-worth. What builds your self-worth is you doing what you think is impossible. So you must think of that rate that scares you, that rate that really scares you, that comes to your mind first, that you just think, oh man, I don't think anybody would pay me to do this. That is the rate that you should be charging as a business person. That should be the rate you should enter into your business with. That rate that scares you. Because when someone finally pays you that rate, remember, if you charge a rate that scares you, you would meet people that would tell you, look, I can't pay for this. It's just way too much. I can't pay you for this. You must not get discouraged by that. You must move on to the next person. Because the truth is that after that client paid me 50,000, I started charging 50,000. But I had a lot of people tell me, look, 50,000 is way too much for me to pay for design. I've been paying 5,000, 2,000. Why should I pay 50,000? And I said, that's how much I charge. And I moved on to the next person. And next person told me no. I got a couple of no's. But again, afterwards, I got a yes. And then I got another yes. And I got another yes. And I became more comfortable charging 50,000. To the extent when 50,000 stopped scaring me. And when 50,000 stopped scaring me, I had to move up again to what scared me. And I moved up to 70,000. And that scared me because I said, oh, 50,000 was so hard. But now I want to move up to 10,000. Will anybody pay me? And I said, you know what? Because that scares me, that is what I will start charging. And I started charging 70,000. So I put that, and people were telling me no, 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 no. And I got one yes. And immediately I got that one yes, built my self-worth again, built my perception of myself again, and I started charging that. Now, you can see that I went from 50 to 70. So that price that scares you doesn't have to be ridiculously high, because some people say, does that mean I can now charge 100 billion? No, because that is your greed talking. You must charge that thing. Be very honest with yourself. That price that comes to your mind first. It might not be very far from what you're charging right now, but it challenges you. So you might be the person charging 15,000 now, and what really scares you is 20,000. By all means, that is the price that builds your self-worth. Because by the time you start charging that 20,000 and move from that 15,000, you feel more confident. And you feel more confident from there to go from 20 to 35, from 35 to 70. So I never tell people that, look, what you're charging is too low. What I tell them is, where are you coming from? If you're charging 10,000 now, are you coming from 2,000? If you're coming from 2,000 to 10,000, then I will really applaud you, because it means you are charging what really scares you. So it doesn't need to be a ridiculous increment. It just needs to be that price that really scares you, as a person, and your mind tells you, nobody will pay you for this. Settle for the safe. That is the price you should be charging as your lowest price on your rate card. That should be your entry point into your business. Because once someone pays you that, then you are good and ready to go. Because it will build your confidence, it will build your self-image, it will build your perception of yourself, and then you would do your work with more pride. So always charge that rate that scares you. Now, how can you tell the difference between the rate that scares you and the rate that comes to your mind out of sheer greed? So that means that, how do you know that voice talking to you in your mind is not greed? It is you just challenging yourself. So what stops you from charging 100,000 instead of saying 100 million? You understand? Because a lot of people just go overboard and charge that amount that that seems a bit greedy or very greedy. Now, how do you know that rate? I tell people this: if you want to judge, if the rate that you feel that you've come up with is the rate that scares you, is something a client can easily come to and half, and you take that offer of half of it, then it means you're just being greedy to start with. So that rate that scares you must scare you enough for you to stick with it, to say, you know what, if you're not paying me this, I'm ready to walk away. But if you're not ready to walk away, you're ready to take any other thing that the client is offering you, then it means you're just being greedy. So I'll give you this example. If you come up with your rate and you say you are charging, let's say 50,000 for your service, whatever your service is, design, photography, baking, fashion, whatever it is. If you say your rate to do your work is 50,000 and the client says, no, this rate is just way too ridiculous, I'll pay you 5,000. And you're like, okay, pay me 5,000. That means you're just being greedy. That means that means you had reached too high for you to just want to compromise. You understand? Now, if your rate, if you choose that 50,000 and the client comes and says, "Oh, I really can't pay that right now. Um, how much can I pay?" And you tell the person you can pay 45, then you are still within that rate that scares you. You understand? That shows that you just need more confidence sticking to your gun. But if you are willing to go from 50 to 5,000 or 50 to 10,000, then it means you've reached too high. It means you cannot stand your ground for this price that scares you. So that's how you test it. So if you come up with the price in your head and you meet a client and the client says, "No, no, no, I can't pay you this, I'll pay you like less than half of it or half of it," and you're willing to take it and you take it, it means that you've reached too high. You understand? You've reached too high. That means that they're not leaning towards greed, than you're leaning towards being honest with yourself with a rate that actually does scare you. So now that we've come up with how to come up with a price, we've settled how to come up with a price that scares you. And now we're really going to go into the rate card. How do you come up with a rate card? What does a rate card mean? Now, a rate card is a document that shows your services and shows how much you charge for your services. Now, one of the reasons why you need a rate card is, for me, as a business person, I tell the people I mentor that it is imperative that you do not tell people as much as possible the price of your services with your mouth. That means someone calls you and just says, "Hey, I got your number off Instagram, or I got your number from a friend. How much do you charge for logo design? How much do you charge for baking a cake? How much do you charge for photography?" And you just say, I charge 10,000 naira. That 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 is the cardinal sin for me when it comes to business. You do not tell people that, because by doing that you have reduced yourself to someone that is just peddling design. So it's kind of, I always give this example between someone that is hawking stuff by the side of the road and someone that is in a shop, um, a well-structured shop. The truth is they both might be selling the same thing, but your approach to two of them is different. That means if they're both selling shoes, someone is selling shoes by the side of the road and the person tells you their price, just ask the person, "Hey, how much is this thing?" And the person says, "Oh, it's 1,000 naira." The first thing you would do, especially here in Nigeria, is say, "Can I pay 500 naira?" You begin to haggle. But when you go to a shop, you understand, and you ask for the price, the thing is that you are less likely to haggle. In fact, the bigger the shop, the less likely you are to haggle, because in your mind you always just feel like if this person at the counter cannot make that executive decision of reducing the price for me. But when the person that is by the side of the road gives you a price that tells you just orally, you just feel like, if look, he told me the price, so we can just as well just argue about it. But when you go to a shop, you see a label on it, it's well labeled. It means that they are not ready to discuss. There's no discussion. This is the price. We thought of this price before you got here. Unlike the person by the side of the road, you kind of think maybe this guy just told me this price off the top of his head. But when you see a label on it, it kind of says they didn't size you up before giving you that price. That price was there before you got there. So that price was put there independent of you. That price doesn't need your approval. Someone else approved it. But when the person tells you with their mouth, it kind of feels like, if I can override or overturn this person's decision to sell this thing at this price and make the person sell it at a lower price. And that's why a rate card is important. It stops you from having that verbal conversation of how much you charge. Because the truth is that for a lot of people, talking about money is very uncomfortable. Unless you're just a very special person that can really talk about money. I've been doing business for about 16 years. It's still very uncomfortable for me to get into a money conversation with people. It takes time. So it's very important that you come to that stage where you can have a conversation with you can avoid that conversation, that verbal conversation about money. So a lot of times when people call me and just say, "How much do you charge for a logo?" And I just tell them, "You know what, I'll send you my rate card. I can send it to you via WhatsApp or email it to you." Some of them might say, "You know what, just tell me this, just tell me the," and I tell them, "No, it's company policy. I have to send you my rate card. My rate card shows my services, and you can look through it when it's convenient and get back to me." And a lot of them just give in afterwards and just say, "Okay, send me your rate card." You understand? So it avoids that, "How much do you charge?" And then you tell them and they're like, "Can you bring it down? This is how much we can we can afford. So that rate card helps you to avoid that uncomfortable talk about money. That's the first thing the rate card does. So a rate card is that document that just tells people how much you charge and what you offer. Now, the first element that you should have on your rate card, the first thing I feel should be in place when it comes to having your rate card. Remember, you know how much you want to charge. You know that price that scares you. Now, you're going to put it in a document. Now, that document, the first thing you should have in that document is your logo and your branding. And this is where those of you that are not designers here, you're just business owners, a lot of people say, oh, why do I need a logo? I don't need a logo. I'll just use my name and just type it in Microsoft Word. Your rate card without proper branding is pretty much useless, because anyone can type out anything on Microsoft Word and send it. Now, it's very important that your rate card must make you look like a business, or else the rate card wouldn't work at all. You must have some level of branding. The most elemental thing being your logo. It must be on your company letterhead. And it's a digital copy of your company letterhead. So if you do not have a logo, you must invest in a logo. If you are a designer, then you're lucky. You can't design the logo for yourself. If you are not good at designing logos, then work with a designer who knows how to design. But it must look proper. You must have your branding. That's the first thing. I tell people that if you look at the sample of the rate card that I've sent to you, it has a logo. You understand? They have logos. So your rate card must have a logo. It must look like it's coming from a company, coming from an establishment, not an individual. So you must have your logo. Your branding is very important. So that's just it. So if you don't have one, try to invest in one. Very important. That's the first thing. The second thing that your rate card must have is that it must offer what you must show what you offer. It must show what you offer as a company. Now, this brings me to the area of specialization. It is incredibly hard to come up with a rate card if you've not chosen an area of specialization. I get a lot of people ask me this question, especially designers. They say, is it important for me to specialize? Can't I just do everything? And I tell them, you can do everything, but specialization helps your business a great deal. And one of the ways it helps your business is it helps you to come up with a rate card. It helps you to structure your rate card. One reason why coming up with my rate card was pretty easy was because before my friend called me, I had decided to focus on logo design. So it was easy for me to structure what I was offering based on logo design. It was very easy for me to structure my rate card because my rate card now seems specific. Remember, your rate card should show what you offer, and what you offer should have some kind of specific nature to it. Now, specialization is important because it's when you specialize that you become an expert at doing something. Now, I'm an expert at making logos because I specialized in doing logos for 15, 16 years now, doing logos day in, day out. So I have a tremendous amount of confidence when it comes to doing logos. So when you look at my rate card, it shows everything in and around logos. Now, you would see where specialization comes to play when I talk about packaging, which I'm going to talk about right now. Your rate card should show levels of design or delivery packages. That means your rate card should have hierarchy and class. There should be some level of hierarchy in your rate card. That means a lot of, and hierarchy can be anything. Like for my rate card, my hierarchy is basic deliverables, and my basic deliverable is the cheapest service I provide, which is if you just want to design a logo, it's called standalone deliverable. That's my standalone package. I call it the standalone package. If you just want to design a logo, nothing else, just design your logo and give it to you. It's on my rate card. It's the cheapest thing you can do with me. So I have a price for that. The second thing is the second level, like a pyramid too. The second level is what I call the basic branding. and that's for people that want to design a logo and a business card and letterhead. That's all you get. That's all you get in terms of that deliverable, because I realize that most people that need a logo need a business card and letterhead. So I'm like, if you want to design a logo, business card and letterhead, then go for my basic branding. Now I now have my extensive branding, which is like what I call the premium branding. Now that has the price for a logo, business card, letterhead, ID cards, invoices, receipts, envelopes, um, I think file jacket design or stuff like that. But those are the things I have in my extensive, package. So you can see now that it's easy for me to scale up because I'm specializing. If I wasn't specializing, it would be hard for me to scale up. Now, someone that is designing logos and or someone that is specializing, that is not specializing, would find it hard to come up with a hierarchy that keeps getting better. Because you've not specialized. Now, if you look at it, a logo goes on a business card, goes on a letterhead, goes on ID cards. They all go together. So I'm able to take out services to make a package look more attractive. And that's because I'm specialized in the area of branding and logo design. But if I didn't have an area of specialization, that means I'll be putting in things that might not be related to logo design. So I might be putting in things like UI UX design, I'm putting in things like layout design, social media design, and some other things. And the truth is that I will have more clients coming to me and saying, you know what, all I want is a logo. I don't mean need UI UX design. In fact, I don't even know what UI UX design is. I don't need it. They'll tell me I don't need animation. I don't need this. So people will be tearing apart my rate card brick by brick because my services are not focused. They're not going towards a, a they're not converging. You understand? And when your services do not converge, then your rate card will not be attractive. Then people will not be able to go for your premium service. You understand? So if you're a business that is specializing, it's easy for you to be able to add things to your services that make your area of specialization come out more. Like now, if you are a book cover designer, because I know some designers that specialize in book covers. Now, there's no need for a book cover designer to put logo design on their rate card, because most people that will come for your service, would not want a logo design. Most people that want to design the cover of their books do not come with logo design deliverables in their mind. So you putting logo design on your rate card will not make in any of your packages, will not make any of your packages attractive. So, but if you are specializing in book cover design, things that you can add to your rate card that makes it more attractive is you might say illustration, because a lot of people that want to design book covers want to do illustration. A lot of them might think, oh yeah, I want to illustrate a tree, I want to illustrate a car, I want to illustrate a rocket. If you put that there and say, okay, my basic deliverable on my rate card is book cover design. Just design the book cover, just with text and colors and stuff like that. My intermediate deliverables on my rate card is going to be book cover with illustration. Then people will say, whoa, maybe I should go for that illustration because it makes so much sense. You illustrate special characters for us and we can own it, and people will be more attracted to that. So that makes your second level more attractive than your first level. Now your third level might now be book cover design, illustration, photography, and proofreading. You understand? You tell the person, look, we will not just design the cover of your book or illustrate, we will also proofread. We will proofread your book for you. And now tell me, as someone that is coming to you to just design a book cover and I see all these options. Imagine I'm coming as a client and I'm just saying all I need is a book cover. And I now look at your rate card and I see that you are offering an option of not just a book cover, to illustrate, to sort out photography, to do some proofreading of my work. I would easily pay you your premium price, because you show me that Number one, you have structure. Number two, you are a specialist in the area of book design. But if you were a book design or a cover design a cover design expert, and you had on your rate card your premium service logo, UI UX design, book cover design, social media design, to the client that comes, like, look, man, this your premium service doesn't make any sense to me because I don't need social media design, I don't need logo design, I definitely don't need UI UX design. You understand? So your area of specialization helps you to be able to put more structure to your rate card and makes your rate card more attractive. Now, we've talked about your rate card having your branding, very important. Your rate card should also have what you offer. Number two, very important. The third thing we talked about is that your rate card should have hierarchy. You should always have gold, platinum, diamond. You understand? You can call it anything. You can call it level one, level two, level three. You can call it, like I called it, standalone, basic, extensive. You can call it whatever you want it, but it should have hierarchy. Because the truth is that when people see hierarchy, they always feel like, I deserve the best. You understand? So you must always make them know there is something better than what you're asking for. So all you're asking for is the logo design, but I'm offering you something better. Do you understand? So because people know there's the penthouse service, they always feel, oh man, this room I'm in, well, it's good though, but I can imagine what the penthouse is like. Because people know this first class and business class. People that are in economy may just feel like, if one day I want to ride business class or ride first class, and that's what makes people, that class system, it what make the airline industry sell a lot of tickets when it comes to first class and this, because people just want to feel like, if I went for the best and I got the best. So your rate card should have that class system too, and you'll be surprised that when people look at your rate card, it brings to their mind things that they never thought of. I can't tell you how many people have seen my rate card and just said, you know what, Tola, all I need is a logo. And by the time they look at the rate card, they're like, okay, you know what? I'm going for that, you're extensive, because I didn't even think that I would need receipts, invoice, ID card. But since you have it here, I think I will need it. You understand? So you should have a packaging system. Now, when it comes to your packaging system, what you want to do is try to make your price of your packaging system also very attractive. Now, your minimum package should be the most expensive in terms of when you compare deliverables with what it costs. Do you understand? Your minimum package should be the most expensive. So I'll put it this way: if I want to start a logo design company or an identity design company like I'm running now, and I say I have a gold package or platinum package, I'm not sure which one comes first, but let's just put gold first. A gold package, and all you get is logo design. And I say for logo design, I'm charging 100,000. Just for a logo design, it's 100,000. And I now say my platinum, which is the second in the pyramid, you have your logo design, business card design, and letterhead design, and that is going to cost you 150,000 or 140,000. You know, 50,000 is okay. And I'll say I have my platinum, which is your logo design, business card design, letterhead design, receipt, invoice, ID card design, and things like that, all in there. And I say that is going to cost you 200,000. Now, the truth is, the person that is going to look at it is going to say, oh, for 50,000, I'm going to get my business card and letterhead inclusive. For 100,000, I'm not going to get a logo, and I'm going to have to go around looking for a designer to do this. For an additional 50,000 on that 150, I'm going to get receipt, invoice, ID cards, business card design, and a logo design. Most logical people would go for that option, because they realize that if I look at it, oh, I'm just adding 50,000 naira more to continue working with this person. it's more attractive to them. So when you scale up your pricing, always make sure that your minimum delivery is more expensive in terms of when they look at what they are paying and what they are getting. Because that's the mistake a lot of people make when it comes to coming up with their rate card. They kind of think, oh, the minimum, they say, okay, for a logo design, they say I charge 50,000. They now say logo design, letterhead, and business card. They now charge 150,000. I'm kind of thinking I'm charging, it's just like double the amount of just doing a logo design. And that's why people will keep going for that, your minimum. And remember, your rate card, you want people to always come for what it is you are charging the most, your premium service. Now, another thing you might think about is when they are doing their extensive branding or their premium branding, or their premium deliverable. Now, it doesn't, as I said, it doesn't have to be branding. It can be whatever service you are doing. It must not be too far from what you are charging for your minimum. It must not be that. It must not be too far. It must not be too far from what you're charging for your intermediate. You understand? So whenever people think about it, they must say, oh, I am saving this much on this and I'm getting more. You understand? So they must always get more for what seems like less. You understand? So you must fix a price on your extensive and lower it up. Lower it as you go. You understand? Lower it as you structure. So that means that come up with what your price for your extensive would be and continue to take out just a little on that number before you now come to what your basic deliverable is. You understand? So that is how you can come up with a rate that now seems that now seems attractive, and your client will see it and say, you know what, let's go for your extensive, or let's go for your premium, or let's go for your diamond service. So your diamond service must always deliver more for what it is the client is paying. It's very important. Always deliver more for what it is the client is paying. And one other way in which you can make your premium service or your extensive service more attractive is offer a discount on your premium service. Always offer a discount on your premium service, because I have people asking that question. Clients are asking for discounts. I'm like, discounts are good, but discounts should always be earned. So never give a discount. I don't give discount on my basic or on my standalone logo design, which is the minimum I do. I give discount on my basic, which is the intermediate, and I give more of a discount on my extensive. So that encourages people to go more for extensive in your rate card. And that's only a rate card can show this. So a rate card, just show them you get a 5% discount if you go for my intermediate. You get a 10% discount if you go for my extensive. And that's how you get more people patronize you and go for your extensive. And rather, very few people will go for that your minimum service, because it's so much more attractive in terms of deliverable. It's so much more attractive in terms of discount that they are getting and how much they are paying for your service. So that's very important. Now, the fourth thing that must be in your rate card is your delivery timeline. You must be able to state how much time it will take you to deliver on the job. Now, people leave this out a lot, and you have the client calling you, is my work ready? Is my work ready? Is my work ready? You don't need that as a business person. You need time to work. So you must always put it there. It will take 7 business days for me to deliver. It will take 14 business days for me to deliver. It will take 30 business days for me to deliver. Always state it in business days. If you say 14 days, someone might call you and expect work on Sunday. If you can't deliver work on Sunday, that's fine. But put business days there, because business days just let you know that you're not counting weekends with that. So to tell them 14 business days, 30 business days, 24 business days, make it clear so that the client doesn't keep disturbing you. Because that one thing, before I had a rate card, clients were always calling me. A client would call me to engage me with a logo design, and in 1 hour's time, they're calling back to say, so is that my logo ready? How far has it gone? But when I had a rate card, people gave me space to work, because I put it there 7 business days, and they don't call till the 7 business days is over. And a lot of times, I contact them before that time elapses. So you must have your delivery timeline always stated clearly there. The second thing, the fifth thing that, which is the final thing you should have on your rate card, is your account details. Your account details should be there, stated very clearly. Now that's why and this brings us to the point of it's important for every business person to register your business. Register your business. It's always very important. Even if all you can do is just register a business name, it's good. It's always better for them to have a business name in your account details than to just be written in your personal name. It doesn't just look professional. So you must have your account details there. Remember, when you send your rate card to a client, you want the client to look at that rate card and not have any questions on for you, but to call you and say, I've made payment. That's all. Because remember, every opportunity the client has to call you to ask you a question is an opportunity for the client to ask for a discount. So if they're calling you, just say, okay, I saw your rate card, I didn't see any account details there. And you just say, okay, I'll send it to you. At that point, you just say, okay, so what's the best you can do for us now? Because at that point, you become that one person again. You understand? So make sure your rate card always shows your account details. Very important. And it's important that you as a business always um, makes an effort to register your business. If you can register it as a limited good, register a business name, whatever structure you can give, but know that it's always good to register your business so you can open an account and you can look very credible as a business. So those five things are very important that you should have in your rate card. Your branding, your logo, very important. You must also show what you offer. What you offer, that means you must specialize. Specializing is very important. So if you are a cake person, do you make wedding cakes or do you make birthday cakes? What's your area of specialization? Do you make cupcakes? If you're a photographer, are you a wedding photographer? Are you a landscape photographer? Are you a portrait photographer? And if you're a designer, what area of design are you into? Show your area of specialization with what you offer. Number three, show your packaging. The packages you offer, and they should be structured, hierarchy. Remember, you can use any word. You can use red, blue, yellow, but one thing with those words is that you must use something that shows class. You understand? So people can go. So you must show economy, first class, whatever it is, business class. You can say gold, platinum, premium. You can say whatever it is you want to, but make sure you show some kind of class system in your rate card. Then you should also show your delivery timeline. That's number four. Very important. Let them know how many days. Remember, use business days. Use business days. Even if you work weekends, you don't want them calling your weekends. Do you understand? So just let weekends be like an extra day for you that the client is not counting. So even if I work weekend, but I don't count it, I don't let the client count it for me. So it's just like bonus days for me. Another thing is your account details. Make sure your account details are clearly stated on your rate card. Now, in closing, I would say continually revise your rate card. I made the mistake in the early part of my career where I did not continually revise my rate card. I left my rate card run for years, six years. I left my rate card at a particular rate. Remember, you always want to keep challenging yourself. So when you get to a place where you're comfortable and people are paying that rate easily, it's time for you to move to the next rate. So you must always revise your rate card. It might be every 6 months, it might be every year, but always challenge yourself, especially when you see people have started paying. It's becoming very comfortable for people to pay that rate. It's time for you to revisit that rate card and once again challenge yourself. Remember, the reason why you're being paid is to increase your self-worth and to give yourself a good perception of your value. Now, I hope you've gotten a lot from this class, and as much as possible, I would like to get a follow-up from each and every one of you on questions you might have concerning the rate card. And remember, with the rate cards I've sent you already, it's not for you to copy the rates that they have, but just to see the structure and let that structure inspire you. Remember, you might be able to charge way more than these people, and the truth is that you might not want to charge as high as that because that might be too scary for you. But let your rate card be authentic and let it be yours as much as possible. So thank you for investing in this class, and I'm looking forward to having a lot of testimonials from designers and business people alike.